Welcome to another episode of Motivational Monday where each one teach one. Hi, Philly.
Hello, Philly. How
How
are
are
you?
you then?
I'm good. I'm good. God is good.
All the time. I've
All
been a
right.
little bit under the weather,
Sorry to hear that.
but with God all things are possible.
Amen. May He
Taking
cover
it
you.
one day at a time. I don't know, I went to work good
Mm-hmm.
and then I came home on Wednesday, very stuffy, nasal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if something is in the air, but
Right. It
you
might
know,
be because Quan said the same thing today on Bible study. So, yeah,
all
it definitely must be something there.
right, good. Okay.
All right.
Father, thank you for the incredible diversity of your creation, especially the uniqueness of each individual. You have made us all in your image, yet with different talents, personality, and perspective. Help us to see and appreciate the beauty in our differences, to find joy in our own unique paths. Grant us the courage to be our authentic self and the wisdom to resist the temptation to compare ourselves to others. May we embrace our individual calling and use our unique gift to serve you and to bless the world around us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen and amen.
Amen.
So I want to just say happy belated birthday to Kwan. I also want to say happy belated birthday to Betty Ann.
Yes.
And I want to say today is my nephew Shadrach's birthday. Happy birthday, Shady.
All right, Shady. Happy birthday.
Today is Donada birthday. Our
Woo!
motivational watcher.
Happy.
Happy
Yes.
birthday, Donada. Happy birthday to Arlene Critchlow. And happy birthday to Jean Sylvester. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
guys again for logging into Motivational Monday. And we do hope you have a bright and prosperous new
Yes.
year, new day, everything in the land of the living
Abundance. Absolutely. Happy birthday, Virgo season in the
all the
house.
time. And
Mhm.
coming up this week, we have Myla birthday will be on Friday. So we're saying happy early birthday to Mr.
Mhm.
Hayward. All right.
Mhm.
Okay. Word
Beautiful.
of the week.
Okay. Word of the week is sanguine. Never heard of it, but sanguine or sanguine is a formal word that is used almost always to describe someone who is confident and hopeful or something that shows confidence and hopefulness. So it's sanguine.
Sanguine. First time I'm
Hmm.
hearing that
Me
word.
too.
Yeah.
And I take pride in knowing a lot of words, and that's not one of them. So,
Yeah.
um,
Really different.
yes, yes, yes. So,
We want to
the
say good night
verse.
to Dean Felix locking in. Thank you, Dean.
Hmm.
Thank you, Anthony Joseph, South Florida, for logging in and always chilling here on Motivational Monday with us. All right. What you got for us, Philly?
Okay, I have our verse of the day is fear no evil. That is taken from Psalm 23, verse 4. And it says, even when I walk through the darkest valley, I will not be afraid, for you are close beside me. Your rod and your staff protect and comfort me. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. And we want to say good night to Fiona Holloway. Good
Mhm.
night. Next week we'll be having her daughter on. So we'll bring her on next week.
All
Um,
right.
Danada, we have to say happy birthday again. She just logged in.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday, Danada.
Janada.
Yes. So who we shouting out this week?
Well, I just came off Bible studies, and prior to that, I wasn't really quite sure, but there were two college students that go to St. John's University that decided to do an impromptu fast and just go out on the campus and started to preach the gospel.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I just think that, first of all, just being a student in general is hard, but being a college student preaching the gospel is a lot harder because kids frown upon it. They look at it like, oh, you so godly, you're
Yeah, yeah,
goody,
yeah.
you're goody two shoes, you
Stigma.
don't party, you don't drink, and all this other stuff. And one of the girls said that she didn't want to do the fast because there was a party and she was really looking forward to drinking. So because God made her get that transparency out, her friends were like, we definitely have to do the fast
Right.
because in doing the fast, it prevented her from she was accountable for her actions. Obviously, she's
Right.
not going to drink during the fast. And during that fast, they end up meeting someone who's like, they're not really into God like that. They believe in a higher power. That
Yes.
guy has gone to Church City twice already.
Nice.
So shout out to those two college students in St. John's University. We'll continue to keep them in prayer, and just students in general, people not being afraid to stand firm in your beliefs, stand firm in your God. I think it's important because even like Quan and I went to Ricardo Steakhouse Sunday, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like 20 people at the table, and we're here praying and everybody's like looking at us like, oh, and it's like we didn't allow that to interfere with what we do,
Right.
so there are people who I kind of heard their forks and knives go down and was like, oh yeah, sorry, my bad, I have no manners. But it's like you just got to stand firm. You got to
Have
stop
it.
worrying about what people think and what they say, and do your thing, and continue your journey and your faith walk with Christ.
I
So
think too, living in your truth is very hard for some people,
right.
and I think when other people see other people living in their truth, they have a problem
Hmm.
with it.
Hmm.
I know for myself, I'm speaking about myself. I
Right.
live in my truth every day of my life, and some people have a problem with my bluntness, and some people just know that I am who I am.
Right.
But when you
Mhm.
know who you are, you don't have to fake or pretend to
Right.
other people. So I think, it's a learning process, and for people, especially living in their truth,
Mhm.
and recognizing, especially what you're for and what you're against. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
Very
So
important.
you just have to live in your truth.
Amen.
Yes.
Very good point.
I want to say too, I have been to my school friend who I know from since I think 11 or 12 years old. Thanksgiving yesterday. Shout out to Tammy. She's
Hmm.
not on social media,
Okay.
but it was very good. I look forward to going to her Thanksgiving each year, because she is saved, and she keeps that Thanksgiving, giving God all praises, all honor and glory, knowing
Amen.
the Lord.
Amen.
So, thanks again, Tammy and crew. All right. So tonight we will be talking about life insurance and the importance of it. And we're going to bring on Mr. Taylor now, who is no stranger to Motivational Monday. Welcome, welcome. Long time.
How you doing? Good night.
Hey, Mr.
Good night,
Taylor.
good night.
Thanks for
How are
being
you? How are you?
here.
We are great hanging there. Hanging in. We hanging in.
Sometimes that's all you gotta do.
Yeah. um. So this month we celebrating what?
It's Life Insurance Awareness Month, so my goal this month is just to provide a lot of education and get a lot of people covered, answer a lot of questions because especially these days with social media, there's just been a ton of information and honestly misinformation around the whole subject. So just answering all the questions, but making sure the number one important thing that we do is we get people covered because way too many people still don't have coverage, but they've worked hard to buy homes, they've worked hard to start families. So it's Life Insurance Awareness Month. Let's get started.
Good. Let's get started.
Definitely.
So I know the importance of life insurance. I think a lot of people still don't get it. But we still have to keep pushing, especially people in our community. Did Denada ever reach out to you?
It's her birthday today, right?
Yes.
Yes, we actually spoke a little over a week ago. Hi, Donata. I know we need to chat again. So, yes, but you're busy partying for your birthday, so I won't call you tonight. Yeah, but it's I think the big issue that we're still facing is people still don't either think they need it or they think that
Yes.
they can get around to it at some other time. And we just had a situation just a few weeks ago where thankfully they're still here, but they unfortunately got a heart attack. A
Mm,
very young person, around my age, in their early 40s, and just the pressure and weight of life on their shoulders, and they got a heart attack, and we didn't know if they were going to make it home. And they're a parent, they own a home, and didn't have life insurances yet. And if God forbid something had happened,
yes.
then that family would have been in a world of hurt. Now, thankfully, they're here. God answered prayers. Our team came together and had a prayer call. So we believe in the power of prayer,
All
but
the
we
time.
also believe in planning and preparing and being a steward of our financial resources and a steward of the blessings that God gave us. So life insurance is just one of those necessary things, especially if you don't have a ton of money saved as yet and you have people depending on your income. It's just something that you need to have. I mean, I posted a video earlier today and said something as simple as you would never buy a house and not have homeowners insurance. When you
Yes.
buy that house, the last thing you want is for the house to burn down. The
Correct.
last thing you want is for a pipe to
Blood.
burst and flood out the basement, all these other things. But we still get homeowners insurance just in case that stuff happens.
Yes.
For those of us who drive around, hopefully you have a driver's license, number one.
Yeah.
But also, number two, you would never drive around without car insurance. Listen, I've
Correct.
gotten into the last storm that hit New York while I lived there. A tree fell on my car.
Right.
I wasn't driving around to get into an accident. I was sleeping nice and sound in my bed, and all of a sudden I hear my car alarm going off. I look outside, and there's a tree that has literally impaled my car. I
Wow.
just turned off the alarm and I went right back to bed. I
Right.
can't lift the tree, but you know what I also had? I knew I had car insurance, so that car insurance was going to pay that bill. And thankfully they did, because it was 20 something $1,000 worth of damage on
Wow.
the car. And
Yeah.
you know what I had to pay? My $500 deductible.
Right.
So we get car insurance to protect, honestly, a depreciating asset. You drive a car off the lot, immediately you're losing value. But
Correct.
our biggest asset to our family is us and our ability to earn income. So if you don't have insurance on the most important thing in your entire life, something's wrong there. So we need to fix that,
Yeah.
definitely.
So how can we continue? Because again, Philia, too, you must be know people too who don't have any insurance, especially if you have kids. You have to have something for them in case of emergency, emergency fund. I mean, in case of death, and somebody have to see about these kids. They don't want to just leave them in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
And again, a lot of people, for some reason, I don't think they look at the importance. And then when something happened, then they put it up, GoFundMe, passing a hat around, calling an
Mm-hmm.
uncle, aunt to see who could bury who. I mean, it is so embarrassing sometimes. But I look at it, if you could drink and you could smoke, that money could go towards your life insurance.
Very true. Yeah.
If you
This
could,
is this is coconut water, by the way. I'm not drinking right now.
you know, but if people think of it like that, even eating out, McDonald's, and you
Yeah.
save that money, or a Starbucks that everybody love,
Hmm.
if you save that money and put it towards, because you can get a policy that is very reasonable when the month come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
But
think
I get,
the where our communities are concerned, like growing up back home in Guyana, where I'm from, if we didn't have any sugar in our cabinet, we could walk across the street and go knock on our neighbor's door, and we would have sugar in our cabinet. And I
yeah,
think that culture of the community raising each other, the community looking out for each other, while that is a healthy perspective, unfortunately we pervert that perspective when it comes to us no longer being here. Well, my parents will take care of my kids, or my siblings will take care of my kids. And all of that is true. But if, God forbid, something happens to us, and we know that our family is going to take care of our kids or take care of the mortgage, do we want to put that person in a financially strapped position to now where their quality of life is diminished because the income that they were using to feed their own family now has to now be split between their family and the kids I'm leaving behind. Or for just like you mentioned, Phyllis, a couple dollars a day, you could leave 250, 300, $500,000 of life insurance. And the quality of life that you want for the kids, the quality of life that you want for your spouse can still be maintained. We always get two choices. We could either be a burden or we could be a blessing.
Right.
And if you're going to pull up to Starbucks and take your little selfie in the morning, you might as well pull up to your financial advisor. Hi, and get your life insurance policy in place. And especially these days, it's far more cost effective than
Yeah.
people actually think it is, which I think is another reason why some people just don't have any. So the one reason some people don't have any is because, well, my family will take care of things if I'm no longer here. And
Right.
while that is true, I think it's important that we leave our family positioned to take care of things if we're not here. Like, I'll use me as an example. If God forbid I don't make it home, I don't have any kids as yet. I checked yesterday, still no children. Um, but if something, God forbid, happens to me, 1 point, almost 2 million, 1.8 million goes to my sister. Like,
Right.
that's how much life insurance I have on me. I don't have that amount of life insurance because I want to pass away. I
Right.
have that amount of life insurance so that if something, God forbid, happens to me, my house is paid off and my sister has enough money to take care of my mother, and my sister's financial quality of life does not have to change. And
Right.
how
Which,
much am I paying for that? It's less than I'm paying for my car insurance. And
wow.
what's more valuable, the car that I drive or my ability to provide for my family? So that's why I have it. I don't have 1.8 million. By the way, for any of you listening to me, you are not the beneficiary, so please don't come for me. All right. So, but I have that because I love my family. If you say you love your family, then you should probably have things in place to take care of them, just like you are now, if you're no longer here anymore. And that's what life insurance is. It allows your check to continue to take care of your wife or your husband, your kids, your parents, especially us in the Caribbean community. We're taking care of our parents, especially if we came over to the US a little later than some people and our parents didn't work long over here.
Right.
Us grown kids, we're now taking care of our parents. Hopefully my mother isn't listening to this right now.
Yeah.
But anyway, I love you, mom. But so we need to have insurance for that too. And it's a lot more cost effective. If I can pay, almost $300 a month for car insurance,
Right.
and my car is worth 30% less than when I bought it, I could pay that much for $1 million of life insurance or $500,000 life insurance. Make
Right.
sense?
So, what about if you live in common law? What would you recommend for common law people living together? Because sometimes they're not married to one another, but living together. What they have out there for people like that?
Sure, that's a good question. And life insurance can fix that because you can list anyone on your life insurance as the beneficiary. If I really wanted to, Phyllis, I could list you on as my beneficiary. I won't be doing that, so
Right.
stay away to. But you could list anyone. So if I'm not married to my partner, but we've built a life together, I could still list her as the beneficiary. She could still list me as the beneficiary. Let's say we bought a house together, we have a child or children together, but we're not married.
Right.
Life insurance doesn't care. Life insurance cares who's the beneficiary on this.
Okay.
And whoever the beneficiary is, that's who gets the check.
That's
So you don't
that's
need to be married.
security. Nice.
Yeah,
Philia?
absolutely.
This is really great information. I love the fact that you mentioned the things that we're paying for that have least value. We're not taking into consideration our own lives. I do agree. I think that is important to make sure that that we are covered, because I remember when my father passed away, his whole idea was, oh, he's gonna always be in Africa. He's not paying American a penny. And then what he did not realize is that he put that burden on really me, not really my mom,
Yeah.
because I also, once he was providing for my mom, and when he passed, I had to end up providing for my mom. And I
Right.
was married and I
Exactly.
still had kids and my children's kids because my sister passed. Again, no life insurance. So
Right.
once
Hmm.
that happened, immediately, first of all, it took a long time to bury him because he died on the plane.
Yes.
So they took him back to where he was, but he wanted to be buried in Africa. And it was just so hectic. So after
Hmm.
that, my mom got life insurance. So it took
Yep.
that tragedy to make her wake up saying that it was so unfair to put that burden on me,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, it wasn't my death. So I think it is just very important that people, even if you get a minimum, even if you get enough to just cover your funeral costs, that's still
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
than nothing.
Exactly.
Better
Yeah.
than nothing. Yeah.
And I'm glad you mentioned that because depending on where you are in your financial journey,
Hmm.
your needs for coverage will be very different. Case in point, where I am in my financial journey, I need 1.8, almost 2 million of coverage. And I plan on having a family, so I'll probably need more as well. But I think about my own parents. They really don't need as much life insurance.
Right.
My mother, if God forbid something happens to her prematurely, we're not going to be financially impacted. We're the ones who fund her quality of life. So I don't lose out monetarily if she passes away. She has a small life insurance policy so that if God forbid something happens to her, there's enough money to take care of final expenses and leave some money to the grandkids. But she doesn't have almost 2 million of coverage. I
Right.
think about my father as an example. Truthfully, he doesn't even need life insurance anymore because the house is paid off, all the kids are grown and out of the house, there
Right.
is zero debt, and he has a halfway decent financial advisor that
Right.
has helped him accumulate over a seven-figure nest egg. So if he, God forbid, passes away, the family is getting a paid off house and over $1 million of actual cash coming from investments. The other thing that we need to get people to understand is that it's not that you need life insurance forever. What you need is money
Right.
forever. What you need is money. Life insurance is a tool to provide money if you don't have it. Because let's be honest, if everyone listening to me right now had $1 million under the mattress, I wouldn't need to talk to you about life insurance.
Right.
But if you don't have a million or half a million or 250 or 100,000 to leave to your family, that's really why you need life insurance. So think of it as income replacement or income protection instead of just something that you really need forever. And that will, once you understand why it's such an important tool, and how cost effective and affordable it can be, then just like you mentioned, Phyllis, for a cup of coffee, and forget Starbucks, you could get it for Dunkin' Donuts or even 7-Eleven
Right.
coffee for crying out loud.
Right.
So it doesn't have to be no expensive coffee anyway. So you can definitely get a lot of coverage, especially if you have young children, if you have a mortgage, if you have business partners, if you have siblings that you're taking care of, anyone that would be financially impacted by your absence, you probably need life insurance. Make sense?
Yes, I think that is so important. We can't stress enough for people to really get it together and have
Mm-hmm.
something together. Too often, I'm seeing family members passing away, and yet people have to ask for help. And I, in my mind, is why we have to ask for help when these people should have something.
Mm-hmm.
But as you and I may have things in order, other people just ignorant. I would have to say that they don't want to get their house in the affairs in the house correct because
Yep.
that they're supposed to be doing, they're not doing. You ask people, okay, for instance, like my brother who passed away 2 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
he had a life insurance. We found it, but it lapsed. He stopped
Mm.
paying on it. You understand? And he used to ask, we used to ask him all the time, Kiki, have everything together? Yes, 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 I have everything together. He died,
Mm.
no will, never leave nothing, two houses, right? Family running the household. It ain't had no money to probate. You have two kids. But I'm just saying that is the problem when your business is not fixed.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then the other issue is that people think that it's just something that they could always get to later on, so they delay getting these things in place. And the truth is, delaying it is actually detrimental because the older someone is, the more expensive those things are. So
Exactly.
the things that affect the cost of your life insurance is your age. So the
Right.
younger you are, the
Yeah.
cheaper it is. The
Yes.
older you are, the higher your premiums. So your age is a big factor.
Right.
The second biggest factor is your health.
Right.
So the younger you are, the healthier you are, the lower your monthly premiums. But the older you are, if you start having to deal with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetic, if you're not eating healthy, if you're not exercising, those things affect your premiums. Even if you're smoking, smoking doubles your premium automatically, even if you're healthy otherwise. And then the other thing that affects so it's your age, your health, how much coverage you're actually applying for. So one of the other big issues that we see out there today is just people just don't have enough. I've sat down with families where the mortgage is $500,000. Their two kids running around, and they just have $100,000 of life insurance.
Wow.
Now, 100,000 is better than nothing,
Nothing. Yes. Yes.
but at the same time, if we're going to go get the coverage, let's get what we actually need.
Yes.
So it's the amount of coverage that will also determine how much your monthly premiums are. And again, there are a lot of affordable options today. I know that if most of you log on to social media, you're scrolling through Instagram and TikTok, you'll see these people talking about life insurance as a way to save and invest. Those are really expensive approaches and they don't actually work out in your favor. I
Right.
can show you tons of examples of why those approaches are not effective, but you can get very cost effective high amounts of coverage through low cost, high value term insurance. And that can give you the protection that you need at a very affordable rate. The reason that my almost $2 million of life insurance is less than my car payment is because I have level term life insurance that will take me into my 70s. And
Right.
because my premiums are low, the rest of my money goes towards my investments, paying off my bills, so that I can be financially secure in the future. I'll give a quick example of another client who I have that doesn't actually need life insurance. She is 77. She's 77 years old, and she doesn't have any life insurance
Right.
because she doesn't need it anymore. Here's
Right.
why she doesn't need it. Her house is paid off, she has zero debt, and she has a little over 300,000 invested with me that she gets income from every single month. And
Right.
she's comfortable. No
Right.
kids, no nothing.
Right.
And God forbid something happens to her, that 300,000, which continues to grow, is going to go to who she has listed as the beneficiary. So
Okay.
did she leave an inheritance without life insurance?
Right.
Yeah, because she left money. So
Right.
again, if you're listening to me and you don't have a lump sum pile of money, either in savings or your company retirement plan,
Right.
based on what your family needs are, you definitely need life insurance. And it's very cost effective based on what your needs are. So we need to stop playing around and get that stuff in place because you can ask any of your audience if they've seen someone pass away prematurely,
Right.
and every single one of them has an example that they can share.
Yeah, it's true.
They
I have
do.
a question for you.
Sure.
Dean is saying, what if the kids take out insurance for their parents?
Absolutely, that's a viable option. I'm the one who pays for my mother's life insurance.
Right.
My mother doesn't pay for that. When I tell you my mother has zero, the only bills my mother has is her Amazon shopping cart. And
Right.
way too many, her bills are probably higher than mine because she uses Amazon for crying out loud. But
Right.
I pay for my mother's life insurance. She's covered. Us adult children are the beneficiary, but she
Right.
doesn't pay for that. And the
Right.
logic there, to whoever mentioned that,
Yeah.
Felix, is yeah, kids should take out life insurance on their parents if it makes sense. Now, we
Right.
don't have a ton of life insurance on my father because there's that big pile of money there.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes.
So the point is to make sure that there's a way for the family to get money if or when something, God forbid, happens. And that money can come from life insurance, is if there isn't a ton of money saved and invested, or it could come from that investment. So if you're listening to me and you're a parent, you have adult children, and you want to leave a legacy for them, have them take out a life insurance policy on you and have them split the bill. Speaking
Right,
of which, I should probably call my siblings and have them split the bill with me because I'm paying for it for myself, right? Meanwhile, we're all the beneficiaries. So,
right, right.
yeah, that's actually a really smart idea, Felix, is to have adult children take out policies on their parents, so that if
Or
or
the
when, God
children
forbid,
can take
something
out
happens.
on their parents, vice versa.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's say there are four children, and each of the four children, they share the cost of $100,000 life insurance policy on the
Right.
parent. They split that cost four ways. If or when, God forbid, something happens, that parent is able to leave 25,000 to all the
Thousand.
kids. So
Yeah.
it's, and again, premium split four ways is much easier than premium split
Just with
one
one.
way. So I definitely call in my siblings after we're done tonight
But you
because
know,
I
you
have
have
three of them.
some cultures, that's what they do.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
they pay for the life insurance,
Hmm.
and if God forbid, as you say, if something happened, it is split because
Absolutely.
they make sure that that general wealth stays in the family.
And that's, I'm glad you mentioned wealth because life insurance is not just a wealth preservation tool, it's a wealth distribution tool. So if you don't have actual wealth as yet, life insurance creates an immediate estate. So again, I don't currently have 1.8 million sitting
Right,
in my investment portfolio.
right,
But God forbid I don't make it home tonight, 1.8 million goes to my family and they're immediate millionaires overnight.
right.
So it's not just to protect my family, God forbid something happens to me prematurely, it's to advance them forward. If you've seen the statistics, I think by the year 2050, the net worth of the average African American household will be negative.
Hmm.
Negative, meaning while other cultures and communities are advancing in wealth
Right,
accumulation,
right.
the African American or the Black community is still taking several steps back. Why? Because we're not putting things in place, we're not
Think.
getting educated, we're not
Right,
getting financially literate. And
right.
there are some people that look like us that are coming into our communities and taking financial resources based on the things that they're selling. We could talk about that until the cows come home.
Right.
But it's up to us to make sure that we put these instruments in place so that if you wake up and you're a generation ahead, what if you're the game changer? What if the simple thing, the cup of coffee a day, could be the difference between your family having to start over or continue to take steps forward?
Or
It's
having that
not
burden on one person,
exactly. And you never want to have the burden on one
one
person.
person. Yeah.
It'll be great if your family has that one person that can carry the load, but you shouldn't have to force them into that position, especially just like Philia mentioned. She had to do those things. Now, she did it because she loves her family. But what if there was 50,000,
Yeah.
100,000, even
Yeah.
25,000
Yes.
to take care of those expenses? She'd probably not have to have been stressed out like she was.
Yeah.
And it's about just providing that peace of mind to the people that we love and care about so that they're already dealing with the emotional impact of our absence. They really shouldn't have to deal with the financial impact of our absence. And that's just two things we shouldn't be dealing with.
I think that is so important, and I really hope people out there who don't have life insurance really listening to really what it is. I mean, we can't stress enough that you have to have life insurance. You have to have renter's insurance. If you get flood out, you have money there to buy back your stuff. You can't
Hmm.
be paying rent and not have rental insurance. I
Hmm.
always tell people that you have to have your car insurance also in case of anything should happen. Although we have a lot of people who's on the road who doesn't have it, you know, but God forbid, we don't want to be ever in an accident with somebody who don't have nothing. Then
Exactly.
you are the one going to lose out.
Hmm.
But again, life insurance, I hope you're hearing and listening to the importance of really getting something. You know, as you say, it's so affordable. The older you get, the more money you have to pay. The younger you are, the less money you have to pay. So as young people, start now. You know,
Yeah,
don't just spend your money into things that have nothing. You could die today or tomorrow too. It don't have a people think that they will live forever. We're not living forever. As you said, look,
yeah,
last 2 weeks, a gentleman on my street, he was only 43 or 39. Dropped down and died on a heart attack. Left two young kids.
yeah. And the,
Yeah.
the sad thing is that we see the impact in the lives of other people, and we don't somehow see how that impacts us. I saw the thing that made me the first time I got life insurance was when I was 23,
Right.
and I got 150,000 of life insurance. I
Right.
was spending $24 a month. I spend that on lunch with two friends,
Right.
even one friend. I spend that right now on lunch for myself, if I'm to be completely honest. So, but I just recognize that if something happened to me, I didn't have kids, didn't have a mortgage. I was contributing to my family's financial upkeep in a very small way at the time. But I just recognized if something were to, God forbid, happen to me, they would have to dip into their savings, their money to take care of what I'd be leaving behind. And I just didn't want that as a burden.
Right.
So I just got a small plan. And as my responsibilities grew, as my income grew, as my needs changed, I just had a program that grew with me. So your plan can always grow with you. And the
Right.
cool thing is that based on whatever your budget is, we can start a plan for less than $100 a month,
Right.
$50 a month, depending on what your budget parameters are. You can start a plan and then work your way up from there. It doesn't have to be some grandiose thing. Again, some is better than none, but
No,
you shouldn't be walking around
with
without
nothing.
any,
Yes. I have
if
another
that makes any
question here
sense.
from
Sure.
Dean. But
Hmm.
why do you think it's so difficult in the black community to understand why it is necessary to have life insurance?
I think it goes back to just a lack of education around the subject.
Culture too, culture. Uh,
Culture, yes,
yeah,
but definitely education because
education.
I have a very diverse clientele. The majority of my clients, I can't even say the majority of my clients. It's quite diverse, but a decent amount of my clients are Caribbean and Black Americans, and every time I talk to them and educate them, they get it because they know why they need to have it. They've seen the situations, they've seen the GoFundmes, they've seen the fish fries, they've seen the church
Yes.
services where there's a different level of cry if there's
You
life
will,
insurance
yeah,
versus no life insurance.
everything, you know?
They've
People,
seen everything, so
yeah,
they understand the need for it, and they get it when we communicate the need for it and the value behind it, because it's not that our communities don't care about each other. It's not like I don't care about my family, or I don't care about my kids. I don't have any as yet, or I don't care about my parents. There's tremendous love and affection in our communities, but what's missing is the education around
patient,
the subject.
yes.
So that's why our company is always taking that educational approach. Here's what this is. Here's why you need it. Here's how it's beneficial. You're not going to take advantage of something if you don't know why it's beneficial.
Right.
And there's actually research going back to the early 1900s that shows that in Black and African American communities, insurance and the subject of life insurance was actually miscommunicated to them to where they just got burial policies, where
Right.
other communities were getting hundreds of thousands of dollars. The Black and African American community was getting basically burial policies. So that was preventing people from, you know,
But
taking steps forward.
yes.
And then when they were sold predatory products like cash value policies, whole life, and index universal life,
Right.
and seeing how those things rob their communities of hard
Right.
earned savings, then the stigma around this is not a good thing, this is something that's actually hurting me, now that's actually taking the family steps back instead of steps forward. So
Oh,
the educational aspect of what we do is honestly really vital, and I appreciate you allowing me to be on your platform to provide that education. But
no problem.
it's something that Life insurance isn't something that you want, it's just something that you need to take care of the people that you love and care about. I think we like to sometimes call it in our company is the last love letter that you write to your family. That's really what it is. It's
So,
saying that I'm working hard to take care of you while I'm alive. This life insurance policy is my love letter to you to say, hey, even though I'm not here, I'm still going to be able to take care of you.
so could you just give a brief example of term insurance, life insurance,
Sure.
accidental insurance? That's the three,
Yeah.
right? How much?
Yeah. So there's three main groups of life insurance.
Okay,
There's and I'll go from worst to best.
right. Go
So
ahead.
the one that you should absolutely not even bother with is accidental death insurance. And
Right.
here's why. It
Yes.
sounds good. It's
Yes.
often the cheapest option that you can
Yes.
get, but the big drawback to those types of plans is that you have to pass away in a very specific way for that policy to pay out its full benefit. And if you don't pass away, God forbid, in that specific way, then the $300,000 accidental death benefit may only end up paying out to your family 50,000. So you're walking around thinking I have 300,000
300,000.
when in truth you really don't. So
Right.
that's why we never recommend those plans.
Accidental.
Then there's the accidental. Then
Right.
there's the cash value types of life insurance such as whole life, and you're going to see a lot of it on social media these
Right.
days, indexed universal life. Here's the advantage of those plans. They're a permanent type of policy that has the potential to build some version of cash value or savings built into them. But there's several drawbacks to them. The first being they're really expensive. So if you need insurance, just because of how expensive those plans are, I've never met a family that had a whole life policy or an index universal life policy that actually had how much coverage they actually needed. Because of how expensive they often get way less than what they actually need. But most people are actually attracted to those plans because of the savings feature that's inside of them. But if you actually read the fine print of those contracts, and I actually do that for a living, I've been in the insurance and investment industry for 15 years at this point. So part of what I do is read those contracts with clients who were sold them. The savings accumulation is very poor. It takes a while for the money to actually save up. And then if you want to access the money, you pay the insurance company an interest rate. You
Wow.
don't have to pay your local bank an interest rate to access your own savings account. When you retire, you don't have to pay your 401k an interest rate to access your mutual fund money when you retire. So why would you have to pay an interest rate to gain access to something that should
Your own
technically be
money.
yours? It's
Yes.
your own money. Like, why
Yes.
should I have to pay somebody to take sugar out of my own cabinet? That never made any sense to me. And
Right.
then how the vast majority of the contracts are structured is that yes, the life insurance will pay out, but any accumulated savings is often kept by the insurance company. Some
Wow.
contracts are different, and we
Robbery.
have seen them, but because of how expensive they are, in fact, I just not last week, 2 weeks ago, I had a client who had an index universal life insurance policy. He was sold 3 years ago. And when he met with the agent, he wanted a savings account to save up for the down payment on a mortgage. He had
Right.
$500,000 of index universal life insurance, and he was spending almost $400 a month into that plan, thinking that he was building up savings for a down payment on his house. When we looked at the statement last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, it stated that there was over 5,000 in there, but when we read the fine print, after you subtracted the surrender charge, he had access to zero. So
Wow.
there was no money in that plan after over 3 years of paying into it for him to make a down payment on his house. So there's a lot of deceptive marketing practices around those types of plans, unfortunately. And a lot of people actually don't have what they think they have. So that's why whenever we sit down with them, we just take them to help them understand what they actually have, what they've been sold, how it actually works, the pitfalls and the pros and cons of it, and then show them what we do instead. What we do instead is getting, high face amount, low cost term insurance and investing separately. You can get a lot of life insurance if you get term life insurance, and our term insurance plans go as long as 35 years. and they're renewable to age 95. So you can continue it if you still need it after age 60, 70, 85, or whatever the case might be. But because the cost is low, you're actually able to get the amount of coverage that you need. And because the cost is low, you could put money into your 401k and save for retirement. You could put money into a Roth IRA and build tax free retirement accounts. You could put money into a savings account or under the mattress, and you'd have more money than you would if you put it into an index universal life or a whole life insurance plan. And I've seen enough contracts to know that those plans are sold a certain way, but they actually don't work out the way that they're sold. Index universal life policies and the whole life policies make one person rich, and it's the agent who sold it to you. It
Wow.
doesn't make you rich, unfortunately. So if you want a structured plan that actually provides enough money if you pass away prematurely and enough money if you're living a long, healthy life, that's where low cost, high value term life insurance comes in and a well structured investment portfolio and mutual funds. And that's what we do all day, every day.
Thank you. I have another
Absolutely.
question for
Sure.
you. I had a death insurance, but I closed it. Could I had life insurance instead of doing that?
When you say death insurance, what do you mean?
Wendy, can you specify a little more
Hold
of
on, I had
what
that,
it
but I
is?
closed it. Could I? So closing it.
Hey Jay, hope you feel better. She mean if I could have changed to the life insurance with the
So
company.
I think I kind of get what Wendy is saying. Hi, Wendy.
Right,
I'm looking over here at the chat
right,
as well. So Wendy, what you had is people market life insurance under many different names, but you had life insurance
right.
already. Just because they called it death
Death.
insurance, some companies call it mortgage protection insurance. It's life insurance just sold to you when you bought your house. Some
Right,
people call it income replacement, like we do. You had life insurance, you just had a version of it. I need to speak with you privately to find out exactly what it is that you had and how it was structured. But you can start out with a very cost effective, low cost term life insurance plan and couple that with a savings so that, again, if you passed away prematurely, a big check pays out from the life insurance. And if, like my parents, you live a long, healthy life, a big check pays out from the investment. So, again, it's not that you need life insurance forever. You need a plan in place to make sure that money shows up to you and your family forever. And that's why we're fully licensed. It says investment advisor on my towel right there. So we don't just do life insurance. Life insurance is in case something happens. We help you with the investments to make sure that, God willing, you're still here and you're 70 and 80 years old. Your kids are going out to the house. You're a grandparent. You have enough money that you're living comfortably. And then you could leave that as an estate when you pass on. Like my 77-year-old client, she doesn't have life insurance because she doesn't need it. Why? She's sitting on $300,000 of income that she's living off of. That 300 is going to go to her beneficiaries. Did she still accomplish the goal of leaving money to who she loved and cared about?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she just didn't need to do it with life insurance. But if you don't have 100 grand, 200 grand, 300,000, you probably need life insurance.
right. Let's talk a little bit about investment. So let's say
Sure.
we have 3 to 5 thousand just laying in the bank.
Mhm.
What kind of investment you think you would advise, or we can talk to you to invest that money so we
Good
can?
question.
Yes,
The answer is it depends,
right.
and a few things that we look at. So we look at setting a client up on their savings programs with what we call three buckets of money.
Okay,
Bucket number one is an emergency fund.
right,
If you don't have an emergency fund, you shouldn't be investing any money. Here's why you shouldn't be investing any money if you don't have an emergency fund, because guess what's going to happen? An emergency, right?
yeah,
When the tree fell on my car,
right,
I didn't have to raid my investments because I had money sitting in a savings account.
right,
So step number one is have an emergency fund. So if that 3 to 5 thousand is the only money you can have access to,
right,
don't invest it.
right,
Leave it in a high yield savings account or a money market account that you can have easy access to, very simple interest rate, but you have easy access to it. So that's the first bucket of money that you should have. The
Right.
second bucket of money that you should have is a pre-retirement bucket. That's money that you could use for down payments on a house, your dream vacation, if you want to retire early at age 50 instead of 65. It's money that you're not going to be touching anytime soon, but you might want to use it in the next 5 to 10 years.
Right.
Can you invest that? Yes, you can. In fact, I think a client that I got through this Facebook, he called me earlier today and we were catching up on his investment. He has that middle bucket. It's not money in his 401k. He just knew that, hey, this money is sitting in my savings account. It's not doing anything. So we invested conservatively last year. It's grown. And he said, oh, hey, can I get some of that? And I was like, yeah, what do you want it for? So we sent him some money from his investment account. It's invested conservatively. And then the third bucket is what we
Wait,
call
pause. So how
sure.
much money you think you could invest like that? How much you need?
There's no minimum, but if you're going to be just dumping a lump sum,
Right.
5,000, 3,000 is a good place to start.
Nice.
Some clients do a lump sum contribution, and then a lot of clients they do monthly contributions to
Okay.
where they don't have 5, 10,000 sitting in their bank,
Right.
but in their budget they could allocate $50, a hundred
Right.
bucks, 200
Okay.
bucks, a couple
Like
hundred
a susu.
dollars a month.
Like a susu. Yeah.
Exactly, but it's
Yeah.
with interest.
Yes.
Exactly,
Susu with interest.
with
Very good.
interest.
Well, we
Exactly.
have to talk this kind of lingo for people
Of
to
course.
understand. So yeah.
Definitely.
Good.
Yeah. And then the third bucket is your wealth building bucket. That's money that you're not touching
Right.
until you retire.
Oh,
That's the
that's
kids are
for
grown, the
401k.
house is paid off. That's your 401k, your 403b, your 457, your Roth IRA, your traditional IRA. If you're self-employed on here, your solo 401k, your pension, your SEP. There's a ton of different investment accounts that we set up for clients based on what their needs are, but it's a needs based approach. And the cool thing is that there's an investment solution for everyone. One of the things that I love about our platform, which made me turn our company into the company that I planted my flag on, is today, depending on which financial institution you talk to, unless you have 250, $500,000, you're not getting a licensed fiduciary investment advisor.
Right.
You're getting a robo advisor or an 800 number that every single time you call, you're talking to someone else.
Yes.
On our platform, you get a trusted financial professional. They're an investment advisor with years of experience, especially in our office and in our company in general. And whether you have 5 million, 5,000, or $50 to start, like I did,
Yes.
there's a plan for you. My entire financial plan, Phyllis, when I started, was $100 a month.
Right.
$30 went to my life insurance,
Yes.
$50 went to my Roth IRA, and $20 went to a little emergency fund. I'd already had an emergency fund, but I was
Yeah.
just adding more to it. So we meet clients where they are and
Right.
build out a plan based on their budget and really educate and guide them throughout the entire process, which is something we're really proud of.
So can anybody contact you for free, or is there a
Yeah.
price? So
There is no price to talk to me. So there's our initial consultations. There's no cost to them. How we get compensated is if the individual or family that's talking to us needs and takes advantage of any of the services we provide, whether that's on the life insurance or the investments or any other solution we provide that matches their needs. Sorry, the companies that we represent, they'll compensate us. So a client never writes a check with our name on it. The
right.
way they do compensate us, though, is assuming they're happy with their client experience.
So
They just
check
recommend us to
recommendation. Yes.
exactly. Yeah. So just spread the word. That's free advertising for us.
Let
If you're
me
happy,
let me type
you
your
can recommend
number.
us. Yeah,
Okay,
you
go
can
ahead.
definitely do that.
Or you can
What I'll do is I'll
yeah.
actually post my the link to my scheduling calendar,
Right.
if that's okay,
Yes.
into the
Yes.
chat. So whoever wanted to, even if you just have questions that you would
Yes.
like to take offline, because the subject of money, not just life insurance, just the subject of money, financial planning. Life insurance is if I don't make it home to my family, but investments is God willing, I'm here in my
Yes.
60s and 70s. I can't borrow enough sugar to retire comfortably. So I need to have a plan in place to
Yes.
make sure that, I'm comfortably taken care of. So let me post this. Here is how to get in touch with.
Yes. Celia, I know she
There
back
we
up.
go. I just
You have
posted
any
it
questions?
in the chat.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
No, I was just actually just looking at some of the things that he mentioned to see if there were questions I have on mine. Like I know, okay, for example, I just got married in May, so I went back into.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So I went back into my life insurance and um added a little more percentage, or took a little from my kids and added a little more percentage, so that my husband, for instance, gets 10% and
Mhm.
my mom gets 10%, and then the rest will
So you
go to my
adjusted your
client's kids. So I
beneficiaries.
just adjusted the
Okay,
beneficiaries
smart move.
exactly.
Yep.
So but just like, just making sure, because also you have to think about, who would be the best person to handle those finances when you're, God forbid something happens to you. I know that my husband is a fair person, or my mom is a fair person.
Okay,
She
we
would
have
be.
a financial advisor there.
I was
Yes.
just going to ask, are all of
Mhm.
your children above 18?
No.
Three of them are.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
just stick a pin right there. So
Okay.
one of the big mistakes that we see in the insurance side of things
Mm-hmm.
is poorly structured beneficiaries.
Okay.
So if you're listening to not you, Philia, but if
It's okay.
anyone's listening to me right now and you
Mm-hmm.
have a minor that's listed as the beneficiary on your life insurance,
Mm-hmm.
that's not the best approach, and here's why.
Okay.
Life insurance companies cannot pay out a proceed, an insurance proceed, directly to a minor.
Oh, okay.
So someone else, maybe
Mm-hmm.
not necessarily who you would like to be, but
Mm-hmm.
someone else who would be listed as what's called a financial guardian of that
Mm-hmm.
child would be able to file the claim and take the money, and you have no control over how that financial guardian, and I'm talking specifically to the people who are not with their spouse or partner
Correct.
anymore.
Right.
So you want to make sure that number one, either a trusted
Trust fund.
adult is
Or
listed
how
as
about
the
the trust fund?
beneficiary,
Right.
or you
Mm-hmm.
establish a trust where the beneficiary is
Okay.
the trust, and then the trust is established to designate those proceeds. Philly, if you would like me to chat with you about that
Yes,
offline, we can definitely do that. So,
definitely. Thank you
but
for that information.
beneficiaries are
Mm-hmm.
definitely one of the mistakes that we see
Mm-hmm.
structuring in insurance policies is
Right.
either not listing minors as a beneficiary as one, not updating your beneficiaries, which you did a great job of because you already took care of that, not
Right.
updating them because we had a situation, not with our company, but, or in our office, I should say, where someone got divorced and they never took their ex wife off of the plan. And
Wow.
now the new wife is expecting a proceed. And let's just say the ex wife was not in a sharing mood. I'll leave that alone, right? So, no minors as beneficiaries
Right.
unless you're putting it in the trust. Um, Update your beneficiaries at
Mhm.
least once a year. And when I say update, I just mean check to see if you need to make changes.
Right.
And
Right.
it's easy to do that when you have a will, power of attorney, living will, that kind of stuff as well. So the benefit and the third mistake that I see as well is not letting beneficiaries know that they're beneficiaries.
Yes. Yes.
That's a
Yes.
really big one.
Yes.
It's
That's a
interesting you
big one.
mentioned that,
Yeah.
because I I think I was traveling. I think we were going to our honeymoon. We were going to Cabo, and then I sent my information to my three oldest. I was like, hey, God forbid something happens. Here's this information. This is the person to call. This is how much everybody's getting. And they were like, oh my God, mom, what's happening? Are you okay? And I'm like, no, this is
Yep.
okay. This is good. Because
Absolutely. Yeah. In
there's
our
transparency
office,
and we're good. Right. Mm-hmm.
absolutely. And in our office, in addition to helping the individual with their insurance policies, we actually meet with their beneficiaries
Mhm.
and give them official beneficiary certificates
Oh, I love
Right.
so
that.
that they know
Right.
That
at
they
the
are.
worst time in your life, you shouldn't be scrambling to figure out who do I call.
Right.
Yes.
When, if anything, God forbid, something happens to one of our clients, they have my office line, they have my
Mhm.
cell phone, they have our advisor's cell phone, so we can just
Wow.
hold their hand through the process because
Right.
there's enough emotions flying around there. We just like to
Right.
hold everyone's hand through the process and make
Right.
sure that everyone's comfortable. So,
This is
kids
good.
as beneficiaries,
This is
not
excellent.
updating your beneficiaries,
Hmm.
and not letting your beneficiaries
Know that
know.
they're
You don't need to
beneficiaries.
tell them,
Right.
hey,
How much?
I
How
didn't need to
much?
tell my sister, "Hey, you having 1.8 million, so
Yes,
I'm sleeping with one eye open." No, no, no.
yes,
Right,
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 But she knows that she's the beneficiary.
right.
So,
Understood.
and she knows where to go, who to call, where the
right,
paperwork is. All
right.
of that's taken care of. So those are just important things that, yes, get the insurance in place, but
Mm-hmm.
also get a plan in place to make sure that if God forbid something happens, who you want to get the money gets it and they get it on time.
Understood.
In the industry in general, the average payout is 6 months, 3 to 6 months after you file a claim.
Right.
With our company, the average payout is 14 days. And I know that because I've delivered checks personally.
Wow.
So it matters who you're covered with. So definitely make sure update your beneficiaries and check to make sure that you have a plan that will deliver for your family.
I think that is very, very important. Dean is saying that was well explained because I think one of the problem, as you said, is not being educated properly concerning the difference life insurance and um, how you can go about investing into it also.
Yep,
You know, I think that
definitely.
that is very important. Um, I'll call you tomorrow because I want to go over some stuff with you
Sure.
uh,
I got you.
concerning my business that I need to fix also, you know?
No worries. I work with entrepreneurs as well.
Yes. So that was good information. Thank you again. The
Thank
hour
you.
just flies
Thanks for
so
having me.
fast, you know.
Yeah.
But this was really, really good information.
Yeah.
Philia, he has his information here. I'll share it with you. You
Please,
can
thank you.
contact him. And,
Awesome.
you know, as I tell him, I have some unfinished business too I need to take care of.
Right.
And with his advice, I know I will do excellent. Um,
Yes.
you know, okay, Diana saying that happened with my two daughters' father, and he greedy wife
Whoa. All
that
right.
did not give my children a cent.
My gosh. Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah.
So
Very
that's
sad.
why it's important
She
to
bought a house
just
with the
have things spelled out.
she bought the house with the money and lose it. That is called karma. Yeah, she get
Mm-hmm.
karma.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But
so
let's make sure that that doesn't happen to you, Diane. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
yeah,
So call me.
exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just have to remember to fix our business. We in our community need to come together, talk more about it, ask your friends and them.
Mm-hmm.
They might tell you you're nosy, but you want to know, do you have life
Yeah.
insurance?
Yeah.
Sometimes
Hmm.
you got, when you know better, you do
We
better.
do better. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? So we have to spread the word and let people know. It long ago, as you say, it was a taboo. It was different things going on. But when you talk about life insurance, it's for financial stability, especially for the family that you're leaving behind. Especially if you have young kids, please, 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 instead of smoking, buying beer, drinking, buying
Hmm.
weed, invest that money into your future or
Yeah.
for your so your family wouldn't be in a hole if anything should happen today or tomorrow.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Uh,
And if you don't have any, just to wrap this up, if you don't have coverage, get some. I'm happy to help show you some options. And even if you've done the right thing in getting a plan in place, it doesn't hurt to review that plan to make sure that it's structured the right way. The features and benefits that you were sold are actually how it's designed. I can't tell you how many times we've seen poorly designed plans. And talk to people about getting a review on their existing plan. I remember one situation. It's one of the situations that impacted me the most in my business to make this more of a mission. This young lady that we met with, this is over 10 years ago now in Brooklyn. We were just sitting on her front stoop. She was a young mother in her early 30s. She had two kids at the time. She had $100,000 of whole life insurance, spending a little over $100 a month. And when we sat down with her, she felt she wanted or needed more coverage. We were able to give her $400,000 of coverage for less than $100 a month.
wow.
And then, literally less than 5 years later, I get a text from the advisor who actually helped her that she passed away.
What?
And it was a really traumatic way that it happened, but the beautiful thing about it was that if we didn't review her plan, her family would have gotten 100,000, and all of us have seen money go just like that. When she
Right.
passed, she had now 4 children. She had two babies. They were twins after we had met. If we didn't change what she had, each child would have gotten 25,000 of coverage.
Right.
And let's be honest, 25,000 evaporates over a summer if you're irresponsible with it. But
Right.
because we reviewed the plan, gave her more coverage, lowered her costs, each child got $100,000. And when we delivered that check to the eldest son, he just broke down crying because he said, I knew my mother took care of us. I just didn't know how. And
Wow.
it wasn't just like a final expense thing. She was able to leave a legacy. And just seeing that, yeah, she had something, but she was self aware enough to say, let me just review this to see if I could be doing better. And
Nice.
maybe you are doing well enough, but it doesn't hurt to get a second
Opinion.
licensed professional
You know.
eyes on it. And
Yeah.
don't have a life insurance agent look at your plan. Have a fully licensed financial advisor look at your plan, because a financial advisor knows that life insurance is a part of your plan
Right.
and it's a full blown financial program that we need to put together. So
Right.
they'll actually look at it not just to have you keep it forever, but to structure it appropriately and make sure that it works for the overall picture. And you
Oh,
happen to be listening to one. So
I'll
I'm
have
happy to
my
help.
sister to
Yeah.
get you and call you so you can look over
Okay.
her. And
I'll be happy to do so.
wants your number, so I will text her your number.
Yeah, and if she clicks on the link in my
Diane, he put a link, just scroll up and the link is
yeah,
there.
but you can post my cell phone number. That's fine.
Yeah, anybody want the number, just contact me, inbox me, I'll send it to you guys.
Yep.
But his information is right there in the chat. Just scroll up and you can get in touch with him right there. Right? Philia, in closing,
This was invaluable. So thank you so much
and
for
we
your
needed to
time.
Thank you.
back before the end of the year,
Absolutely. This is
Always.
awesome. Yeah.
because you are our personal financial advisor.
Right.
And
Happy to
over
help.
the ending of the year,
And the
going into
finder's fee
and
now.
you know how we just do it.
Mhm.
You know.
Absolutely.
But thank you
We'll
for
do
having
something
a
for
friend like
Thanksgiving.
you,
Yeah.
and thank you
Yes.
for being in our lives, and thank you for
Amen.
always reaching out and
Glad
keep
to help.
staying in touch.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys have a blessed
Awesome.
night. Thanks
All
for
right.
Thank you.
having me.
You
Bless night.
too.
I'll see you
Bye
Okay,
soon.
bye.
house always. Have a great week, guys.
Yeah. That
And
was awesome.
anybody wants his number, just send me a text or inbox me, message me, and you
Hmm.
can get in touch with him. Again, is no cost, but recommendation is always good,
Right.
and he's always here to help any of us. All right.
Yeah, that's a beautiful
Have a
thing.
great
Awesome.
and blessed week, guys. Love
Bye,
in the
everybody.
house
Love in the house.
all the time.
Bye bye.
Bye, Philly.
Bye, baby. Feel better.
Yes, thanks.